Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's Monday, December 12th, 2016. Last week, the Times of Israel on December 6th wrote this story about 119 biblical sheep being delivered to Israel from Canada. And the article states that these type of sheep have not been in Israel since biblical times. What we're going to talk about is why the number 119 was chosen and what other stories in the world right now are connected to this. This story is a warning for the people of this world about events to come, such as a great world war. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. In case you've never seen any of my work before, if you're new here, I have thousands of videos on this very topic we're going to share here. And in those videos, hundreds of times I have talked about the number 119. It is very important to Zionist Israel. The flag in Israel is the Star of David, also known as the Seal of Solomon, but for their flag they call it the Star of David, which equals 119. Like all-seeing eye, the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill where it's been since 1913, along with the Star of David. It's print clearly on the $1 bill and the pattern of stars in the right corner of the $1 bill. Master plan in Gematria 119. We're going to be talking a lot about 119, but first understand that is why it's being reported that 119 Jacob sheep have been delivered to Israel. And in the Bible, in Genesis, the name Jacob becomes Israel, which we'll get to. Gematria, this practice of coding numbers into words, is mostly a Jewish practice. If you look up Kabbalah, it is Jewish mysticism in numbers, the spiritual meaning behind numbers. It involves gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, numerology, the science of numbers, mostly focused on the single digits. Notice that the word news in Gematria sums to 61, just like Times of Israel, the publication that wrote this, the news publication. The word God in Jewish Gematria is 61. The word church has Gematria of 61, miracle. Think about the news in this world. It really does play God over the mind's eye of the masses, instilling them with fear, what to think, what to believe, who to vote for, where to shop, what to eat. So anyhow, here's a relationship real quick in numbers. 119. If you add all the numbers that divide into it, 1, 7, 17, and 119, if you add them together, they sum to 144. We're going to talk about Revelation 14:1, which has to do with 144 in a moment, and sheep. But look at this. These sheep came from Canada. Canada has Gematria of 144. This story is marking a special moment in time. The word time in Jewish Gematria sums to 144. 119, 144, very important numbers throughout history. Again, if you want to better understand the relevance of these numbers and how they show up throughout time, throughout history, take the time to watch my mini videos. These are numbers I'm talking about more often than not. So these numbers have a mathematical relationship. They both relate to the Bible, which we'll get to. In regards to time having gematria of 144, the square root of 144 is 12. Think about if you look at a clock with hands, 12 numbers on there, 12 hours in the morning, in the evening, 12 months in a year. This world has been built around us as we know it by the numbers. That's why we have the awkward calendar system that we have. So we're talking about Jacob's sheep coming to Israel. He said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." Then he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." There was that recent false flag shooting, and they said the victim was Lil Jacob. Lil Jacob has the same gematria as Israel. They asked the public to donate money to a false flag shooting for an agenda, treating the people as sheep. So, these sheep arrived in Israel on November 30th, the day after the wildfire ended in Tennessee, which was a tribute to the wildfire going on in Haifa, Israel at the same time. And I just want to remind you that they reported that 119,000 acres burned. They also gave us the story about one Bible page from the King James Bible being discovered at Dolly Parton's ranch on November 29th, which was the 69-year anniversary of the recognition of Zionist Israel as a nation. That was November 29th, 1947, by the United Nations with a 33-nation vote in favor of making Israel its own nation. November 29th. November 29th in Tennessee, supposedly this page from the book of Joel was discovered. The most readable verse on here is Joel 1:19. O Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. You know, how amazing that Joel 1:19 is what discovered at Dolly Parton's ranch at the end of the wildfire on November 29th, the anniversary of the establishment of Israel. And by the way, this Bible verse, it comes from the book of Joel, which has to do with God's punishment for the people of Israel. At the same time as this Tennessee wildfire, there was a wildfire in Israel. Both of those fires began November 23rd, which is the day that leaves 38 days left in the year. The word fire equals 38, death 38, killing 38. The word Jew equals 38. In Pythagorean gematria, Jewish equals 39. These fires began on the date that leaves 38 days left in the year. Notice on this burnt page, you can also see about the trumpets. This verse has to do with sounding an alarm for Zion. If you could read the whole thing that's there. Zion is Israel. Trumpets, the Donald Trump ticket right now. Trumpets. Trumpets are the warning in Revelation, the final book of the Bible having to do with prophecy and destruction. Revelation's based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. Joel, this page was found on November 29th. Joel is the 29th book of the Bible. So this was found at Dolly Parton's ranch. Dolly, which we'll talk about Dolly the sheep in a moment, the first cloned living creature supposedly. But look at this. With regards to that verse being Joel 1:19 from the King James Bible, King James Bible's 119. The verse begins, O Lord. O Lord has the same gematria as Israel. So we might as well just say, Israel. To thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field. Joel 1:19. This verse was found, or this page, on Dolly Parton's ranch. Look at what day Dolly Parton is born. January 19th, 119. Dolly Parton. Dolly the sheep, which we'll get to. On the day of the wildfire, or excuse me, not the day of the wildfire, but the day that this page was found surviving the wildfire, November 29th, Dolly Parton herself was at The Voice, the NBC show, singing her song Jolene. And look at this. Jolene was recorded in history on May 22nd, 1973. That's a date with 119 numerology. Jolene, she was singing Jolene the day they found the page from the book of Joel. You see? So here's the sheep, supposedly arriving in Israel in quarantine. Supposed to be 119 of them. If you missed the videos I put out on the fire, I showed the riddles within the fire to the Donald Trump ticket as well. Donald Trump was just announced as the 45th president on November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Mr. Wall announced as the president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. In Gematria, Berlin Wall equals 45. So does Holy Bible. The Holy Bible ends with the trumpet warnings, the trumpets ticket. Look at this. This commercial, this picture right here that we're looking at is from a Serta mattress ad from 2010. Donald Trump in this commercial talks about being born for the job. He's talking to sheep. Notice the numbered sheep in this shot from the commercial. 11-9, Donald Trump was announced as the 45th president in this exact suit and tie on 11-9. And the name Donald in Jewish gematria is 119. As I've been explaining since I got here, presidents are not elected, they're selected, they're born and bred to be, they're chosen years in advance, they know the puppet positions they play. Donald Trump is a warning himself, as we should all know, those of us who have a brain, those of us who are rational and awake. So here's the way this article begins. The sheep have landed. After 3 years, I should have done the gematria of that sentence. After 3 years of high-level negotiations between the Israeli and Canadian governments, 119 heritage sheep, which trace their lineage back 5,000 years to the Middle East, began arriving in Israel on November 30th. The wildfire ended November 29th. This next day, the sheep show up in Israel. And remember, Canada equals 144, the divisors of 119, sum to 144. All of this riddle is structured appropriately. Three of the 11 flights carrying the sheep have already arrived in Israel, according to Gil and Jenna Lewinsky. The word Lewinsky has the same gematria as Israel. Monica Lewinsky, the subliminal, has the same gematria as Masonic and Jewish. Anyway, 11 and 3, 113, those are important numbers to the Zionist Jews. Mainstream equals 113, dishonest 113, perverted 113, perjury 113. Bava Kama 113a says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who isn't. If you flip it around, 3 and 11, the beast in Jewish gematria equals 311. Number of the beast, this talk of the beast ruling for 42 months in Revelation. Should mention that the word Freemason equals 42, Zionism 42. Of course, the Bibles first published were 42-line Bibles. New Testament ends with Revelation. New Testament equals 42. Begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. Anyhow, all of these numbers that they quote again and again, their relevance seemingly comes from the Bible and possibly texts written before that were also coded in this alphanumeric system. Gematria is thousands of years old. English is just a few hundred. Notice, the article, it also points out that the day the sheep arrived in Israel was the date on the Jewish calendar that the day Noah came off the ark, the 28th of Heshvan. Heshvan has gematria 41, the 13th prime. Jacob equals 13. These are Jacob's sheep. This is how they do it over the years, making news by the numbers, by history, by astrology, tributes to the Bible. I just want to point out that Noah's Ark in gematria sums to 33, just like Masonry, like secrecy, like believe, like Genesis, the first book of the Bible. 3 times 11, we're talking about 113, 311. Multiply those numbers together. 11 times 3, 33. Just like how they start up here. 11 flights carrying the sheep. 3 of the 11 flights, You know what? Sometimes when I'm scrolling through these pages, people will leave a comment. They said, how come you had that ad in your video? And you guys, I'm just taking screen captures from these articles, and the ads are in the actual article. I'm not trying to put ads on my blog. I'm just capturing the article so people can read, linking the article. I wish the ad wasn't there. Just want to answer that question because it gets asked fairly often. So here they give us the journey of Jacob's sheep coming from Canada, going to the United Kingdom, which is a Zionist nation, just like all of North and South America. This is what's going on. The Freemasons, the Zionists, the Jewish banker, tyrant, warmongers, this is what they've done over the years. Conquered the world with their money systems, with their war. Look at this path. From a territory, a continent's conquered by them, to another territory. No sun sets on Britain. Remember World War I? The Rothschilds said if the United States fought in the war on behalf of the United Kingdom, the Zionist state of Israel would be delivered. That's the reason they don't teach the United States children about World War I. If they learned about World War I, they would know that World War II was a manufactured farce. But look, UK, then through Spain. Okay, who came over and conquered the Americas? Are these not the people? The Americas, Spain, France. Then down through Africa, through biblical territory into the Middle East. So they talk about Genesis 30:32, where the name Jacob's sheep comes from. Just want to point out that Genesis has gematria of 33, just like Big Bang. People often compare these against each other. Divide and conquer, that's what the Freemasons are into. So many people in this world, they only believe in science, or they only believe in religion. It should be about using all information to make sense of what's going on. There's people who just want us to fight over nonsense. They are the Freemasons. Pride themselves on being the invisible architects, the keepers of knowledge. The article also refers to them as Jacob sheep without the apostrophe. I just noticed when you use Jacob sheep, it sums to 39 books in the Old Testament. Genesis, the first of 39 books. 84, that special number to the United States of America and more. If you missed my video on the Bastille Day attack hoax in France, I did a big video on the history of 84 and how 84 was the number that started World War I. United States of America 84, States 84, Jesuit 84, Lawyer 84, Savior 84, Divide and Conquer 84, Order out of Chaos. So anyhow, these sheep came over on November 30th, a date which has a connection to 41, the 13th prime. They're Jacob sheep, Jacob 13. USA equals 41, 13 stripes, 13 colonies. Canada, North America, along with US and Mexico. If you want to read this entire article, you can. There's actually not a lot to it. It's mostly just fluff. It's just a riddled news story. Mostly nonsensical information. The truth is in the numbers that are put before your eyes. So, let's now transition to Dolly the sheep. This is a story that fascinated me as a child. In 1997, when this story came out, how old would I have been? I wasn't even 14 yet. I was 13, and I was asking all of my teachers about this story. I didn't understand how if they could clone a sheep, why they couldn't clone anything else, including a human being. Because that's the way they were reporting at the time. Like, they only knew how to do it for a sheep. And I was thinking, that doesn't make sense. If you can clone a sheep, theoretically, you should be able to clone any other living thing, because there's really not that much different in the anatomy of a sheep and a human, or any other living species. My teachers didn't have an answer at the time, and I think now what I thought then as a 13-year-old, they were mocking us. If they could clone a sheep, obviously they could clone anything else. And what does that mean? Well, let me show you about Dolly the sheep. Let's just start here with the gematria of Dolly. We were just talking about Dolly Parton's ranch, Joel 119, 119 sheep. Just make sure you're following me. All-seeing eye, master plan, Star of David, King James Bible. Anyway, Dolly and symbol, gematria of 23. Dolly the sheep was supposedly born July 5th, 1996, and revealed to the world February 22nd, 1997. Look at this. The date of its birth was a date with 37 gematria. Israel equals 37. Lewinsky equals 37, the name of the woman bringing these sheep. Lewinsky 37. I should have mentioned that right there. From Dolly's birthday to the date she was revealed in the world, from July 5th, 96 to February 22nd, 1997, that's 232 days, or 33 weeks in a day. The number 232 is the number for Satan in Jewish gematria. In Revelation, the final book of the Bible, it says the false Jews, the synagogue of Satan, will rule in the end times. Hold on, Truth Seeker. There's something that's supposed to be on the screen that is not there, so I got to show you this real quick. Synagogue of Satan sums to 64. And using the alphabetic order, so does Israel. Interrelated methods, Pythagorean gematria, simple English gematria. Synagogue of Satan sums to 64, like Israel, like Zion, like Thelema, like Dolly the sheep. In simple English gematria, the Synagogue of Satan sums to 223, just like the word Masonic in Jewish gematria. Freemasonry, Zionism, the Jesuits, they are all in bed together. They are all the same gang. And real quick, with regards to the Jesuits, we talked about how they equal 84. I should point out the Jesuit order equals 144, the other number we began with. So, okay, just establishing all these connections between Satan, Israel, the synagogue of Satan, the coding of these numbers that they use again and again throughout history. February 22nd, the reason they chose this date to reveal Dolly, the cloned sheep, is because the word sheep equals 53 using the alphabetic order, and so does the word cloned. They both equal 53. The 53rd day of the year, it's revealed that there's a cloned sheep. And if you read the Bible, the religious texts, it is full of sheep references. Here's this biblical story about the 119 sheep. Religion is 53. And what religion has done to the world is made people believe instead of think. And a large part of that reasoning is because religion is put on people at a young age, and it teaches fear and believe or else, and don't question or else, and accept or else. The word Christian has gematria 47, like authority, like framework, like foundation. The Freemasons have something called Euclid's 47th problem about how to establish foundation. You want a bunch of people to control easily? You want to make them into sheep? Make them fearful believers, like religion and the news does. The number 53 is the 16th prime number. Here we are in 2016 with these sheep coming. You know, Donald Trump, Donald, on November 9th. Regarding Dolly in 96 being born, Freemason 96, Satanism 96, that date July 5th can be written 5/7 or 7/5, New World Order 75, Order Out of Chaos 75, with the S exception, Order Out of Chaos is 84, Scottish Rite 57. The sheep arrived November 30th, 11/3, Scottish 113 as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, which has ranging degrees 31, 32, 33. Add the three together, they sum to 96. Scottish, mainstream, dishonest, perverted. Baba Kama 113A, it's okay for Jewish people to lie to people who are not. Regarding the date of February 22nd, the revealing of the sheep, being a society of sheep being led to slaughter. You see, that's just my point, truth seeker. You know, a lot of people don't like me because I speak with such confidence, and some people call it arrogance, and admittedly, sometimes I am arrogant. But the thing is, I've been pretty much the same person since I was 13 years old. By the time I was 13, I thought I was too smart for my teachers. I thought they couldn't answer questions and weren't even asking the questions they should be asking. You know, more people should have been asking about this Dolly the sheep thing. If they can clone a sheep, what else can they clone? Can they clone these crazy politicians? Is that where, you know, Shrug George W. Bush came from? I mean, what is going on in this world? You know, things that people aren't asking and trying to figure out. That's what this work's about, understanding what's being done to us. So anyway, hell, Israel, Dolly the sheep, remember, same gematria. I showed that somewhere where Dolly the sheep equals 64, or if not, we'll get there. But anyway, revealing of this sheep on the specific date, February 22nd, the 53rd day of the year. In Revelation, the book of prophecy and destruction, you know, there's a lot of fire symbolism, there's sheep, there's Israel, there's Zion. All of these ingredients are coming together in these stories that are being quoted before our face. You know, the Third World War, no doubt, will involve Israel. It's going to be in that region. It's going to be about Christianity versus Islam. It's going to be about growing the Zionist state, building the New World Order, the Masonic police state that it is. Look at this. Revelation is the book of prophecy and destruction. Destroy equals 106. Prophecy 106. The fire was in Tennessee, where the page was found at Dolly Parton's ranch. Tennessee 106. It was from the book of Joel 106. The Zionist nation of Israel was established November 29th, 1947. 11 plus 29 for November 29th is 40. The word David equals 40. Star of David. Anyway, 40 plus 19 is 59, plus 47 more is 106. That's the date, November 29th, 1947, added up in numerology. The date Israel was recognized as a nation was a date with 106 numerology. Special number to this game. The date Dolly was revealed to the world was a date with 121 numerology. Revelation equals 121. I had a big revelation that day. I said, okay, if this is a real story, this means that they can clone other things. I don't care if my science teacher and none of my other teachers can answer the question. I can think for myself. Around that same age is when I got kicked out of church finally. I asked too many questions. My mom was so disappointed. So anyway, here we are in Revelation 14:1 from the King James Bible. And I looked, and lo, a lamb, a baby sheep, stood on the Mount Sion, which is Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. These are the lost tribes of Israel. Numbers on the forehead. Number of the beast. Number of the beast is 666. If you take the first 144 decimal points of pi, which has to do with circles, cycles, it sums to 666. Gatlinburg, the town that burned up in Tennessee. Look at the gematria of Gatlinburg. 666. Here is wisdom. The man with wisdom will calculate 666. Well, here's how you calculate it. Gematria. So anyway, Zion has the gematria of 64, like Israel, like Thelema, like do what thou wilt, which is the motto of Thelema. The motto of Thelema is do what thou wilt. Thelema worships the number 93. Everything about Israel's history is 93, which we'll get to. Again, synagogue of Satan, 64. Dolly the sheep is 64. Just want to make sure that we had that up there. Dolly the sheep. One more 64 up for us. 64 spaces on the chessboard. Not a coincidence. Regarding the name Israel and Jacob, it is connected to Kronos, which is Saturn, which is the keeper of time. Just trying to bring all this together. So we're talking about Jacob's sheep going to Israel. Jacob's name become Israel in the Bible. Saturn is the keeper of time, represented by the number 93. Thelema worships 93. Everything about Israel is 93. We just saw not long ago the death of the former prime minister at age 93, and all the world leaders in Israel show up on September 29th, the day that leaves 93 days left in the year. Look at this. Kronos in gematria sums to 47. The word time equals 47. Saturn is the keeper of time. Israel, recognized as a nation in 1947. If you add 19 and 47 together, it sums to 66. Revelation's the 66th book of the Bible. Has a lot to do with this prophecy of Zion. Anyway, Saturn, 93, the keeper of time. In this world, they tell us the sun, the real keeper of time, is 93 million miles away. Think about it. Saturn, 93, propaganda, 93. The Zionist nation of Israel is a propaganda-based nation. Its entire reason for existence is based on propaganda and lies. Their missile defense system is called Iron Dome. Their current Speaker of the House is Edelstein. Their Congress is called Knesset. Israel was drawn up on the date September 3rd. 93 is the reflection of 39. 39 books in the Old Testament. Think about how they say the sun's 93 million miles away. God's son, 93. Jesus on the cross. Is that the astrological cross? Crucifix, 93. Just had the death of Shimon Peres by the numbers. This story of Kronos is from the time of the Phoenicians. I guess the word Phoenicia means purple. I'm thinking about Donald Trump, all the purple symbolism lately. Purple has gematria of 88, like Trump. With regards to Kronos, purple, time. Remember, in Back to the Future, they time travel at 88 miles per hour because 8 is the infinite loop, like time. 88 representing time. 119,000 acres in 8 southeastern states. By the way, Dolly Parton, the song she sung, Jolene, on the same day the page from the Book of Joel was found at her ranch, November 29th, that song was a classic in 74. Jewish 74, Masonic 74, Occult 74, the reflection of 47, the year it was established. Gematria, English 74. Very special numbers to this gang. Look how they report in here. A total of 74 aircraft, including Black Hawk helicopters and BEAE tankers, have been used. Unreal. So, here's where I want to finish. We began with 119. Think about the date September 11th. In most parts of the world, that date's written 11/9. I want to show you something about that number in Israel. Israel has a holiday called the 9th of Av, or in Hebrew, Tisha Bav. Tisha Bav in Jewish gematria sums to 911. And of course, if you don't know what that's about, it's about the destruction of the two temples in Jewish history that supposedly happened on the same day, this tragic date, the 9th of Av, the 9th day of the 11th month of the Jewish calendar. The destruction of the two temples, are you thinking about it? Think about the World Trade Centers, the two towers, the destruction of the two towers, now replaced with one World Trade Center. One World Trade Center in gematria equals 93. I'll just show you this. One World Trade Center, 93. Think about the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Think about Flight 93 of 33 passengers. Think about the first plane hitting the World Trade Centers. Hit floors 93 through 99 as reported in the commission report. They made the One World Trade Center 104 stories tall, 1,776 feet. 1776, the year of establishment. Independent date numerology of 93. They made One World Trade Center 1,776 feet tall. Let's add the rest of that date. The numerology of our date of establishment, 7 plus 4 plus 17 plus 76 is 104. Like Jersualem, which has a big fat USA in the middle. And what's USA? 41, the 13th prime number. 13 stripes, 13 colonies. These are numbers important to a gang all throughout history, again and again. For you football fans, check out my blog on how much 41 and 13 there was yesterday. I'll do a video if I have time. Till next time, truth seekers. One last thing. The time is running out to support the campaign for the All for Truth website launch. If you want to support this campaign, this is about uniting the truth seekers in this world, spreading the knowledge, and bringing an end to this madness. No matter what they have planned, no matter how bad it gets, the world's going to go on. And to defeat this gang, more and more people are going to have to keep waking up, you know? Just because these people got something nasty planned for us doesn't mean the game's over. Game will be over when we put them out of commission. And their sick satanic gang. Until next time, true